Finance Committee meeting. It is March 8th, 6:30 PM, and we're in room 27 of the Wareham Town Hall. Call the meeting to order. May I ask the clerk call the roll, please?
Sure, we got all present: Jody Smith, Tom Hannon, Dominic Camerano, Tom Worthen, Gerald Stefanski, Julie Moran, Norma Scogan, myself, and Bernie Pitches.
Thank you.
He mentioned you, Tom? Keep going, I don't know. He mentioned you?
No, he doesn't.
You forgot Tom.
No, he got me.
Oh, did he?
got me,
Yeah.
He and I wear the
My
same,
mistake.
we get our shirts at the same place, so we
LLB.
First item on our agenda is minutes, if we have any. We don't as yet, which is perfectly fine at this point. We're only missing 2 meeting minutes, actually 3. I'll have to go back in history to see how we did the review of all the departments. That would be several pages, and I think we managed to bring that down a good deal. So it was only 2 pages, but I'll have to see that and talk to Kelly about it. And next item on the agenda then is the discussion of the annual town meeting housekeeping warrant articles. Derek was going to come join us this evening, and he was also going to go over the budget again, the budget revisions. Things have changed somewhat as a result of the cherry sheet and the extra 2 million that the governor gave us. Extraordinarily generous. Won't say a bad word about it tonight. And as a result, he's able to change a lot of budgets and actually start bringing people back on. There's a couple people already have started, one in town clerk, one in accounting. I believe, let's see, who else is there? I think the selectman's office may have one. I'm not positive of this. This was just off the hand discussion we had. And that kind of meets the objective we've been wanting to accomplish for the last several years, starting with about 3 or 4 years ago. And when we started having to reduce staff, and then when we had COVID, we definitely lost more people. And as a result of some of the offices in this building, if someone were sick, COVID or whatever, they'd have to close during the quarantine period because they didn't have enough staff to bring them into the office that knew what the process was. So, the the housekeeping articles we can go through, which is Article 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Article 1 is I'll use the election of officers. Now, the election takes place after town meeting, and as such, it says to choose the following officers, but that seems a strange language considering it's going to take place actually 2 weeks afterwards, I believe. Then there's the recurring business, which allows the town to continue its day-to-day business. Treasurer collector is able to borrow monies to do the day-to-day operations. As an example, when the next fiscal year starts, Derek has issues payments for all of the lump sums, or let's say the benefit packages, retirement and medical for all those employees. Instead of a payment plan, he gets a discount by doing so. And John would go out and borrow at a much less interest rate than the penalty would be if he had done it on a payment plan. So that's a benefit that we have in the process that we go forward in doing. Article 3 is the compensation of certain appointed or elected officials. With the retirement, the retirement of Michelle, the town clerk, who currently is elected. She was elected prior to the previous town meeting changing the position to appointed. So she had was going to fulfill her elected term, which was 3 years. And then it would become an appointed position. Now that she is retiring early, in the next month or 2, I believe, the position will be appointed starting FY '24. So it'll be a paid position. It won't be in that. My point is, it will not be in Article 3. She will be in the regular budget, her pay.
The fiscal year '24 starts in July of this year.
July 1, yes.
So she's retiring this summer? Is that what I understand that right?
Before the year's out, she
Before,
said.
yes, before the fiscal year is out.
I'm not sure exactly when, but she is gonna leave.
She's turning in her papers
Yeah.
as a resignation, but under the circumstances, being an elected person, we can't start doing anything until the day she actually retires. She has the right to change her mind at any.
But she was, I mean, she was all for getting reelected at the last, when this whole thing
Yes.
came up.
Yes.
Personal
Is
things
there,
have
li-
changed.
is,
She
has there,
told me it
has there
was
changed the
personal.
life?
Yeah,
Has the life changed in
there's some
some?
personal issues that she's
Yeah,
dealing
she
with.
said that, it was
that,
personal, yeah.
Talk about that.
And so the only one we have, I think there's 7,000 for the registrar position and a per diem for the vote, not the voters,
Moderator,
that's right, the moderator per diem, I'm saying, thank
only,
you.
only one per diem in the whole town.
Yeah, good thing Claire isn't here, she would have me have my head, forget her. But that's it for the Article 3. Article 4 is revolving funds, which have been accepted by previous town meetings, and what we do is just ascertain that the current spending limits are not changed and are accepted as printed. The occasion,
Question?
yes,
Isn't the golf course a revolving account?
Yes,
Yes.
I don't see it on here.
You're right.
you're right, it isn't.
maybe because it's new, Jody, I don't know.
Oh, they-
This year's the first,
Yeah, and they got money. Well, there's money that was supposed to go in, not a lot of money, but money.
And we
I
did vote,
believe
we did
that-
vote to open that last year, too.
Yeah.
question we gotta bring up then. It is a revolving fund.
Yeah.
You're right, it is, I thought it was, and I'm not sure if there are certain revolving accounts. No, they'd all appear on that chart.
They should, yeah,
You're right.
they'll be there.
It may
I
be
mean,
incomplete. So they'll just make an amendment since the warrant's closed. And the capital, the occasional reports, that could be from sewer commissioners, could also be from the building committee for the police safety complex, whatever they wanna call themselves. And anyone else who has an operation that is proceeding with some kind of plan. Could be the solar, it could be a report. There's
Capital.
nothing,
Is it
capital
on
planning,
there? Yeah.
no, capital planning is a specific article, Article 6. And I think Jerry asked for I think we'll be on for the 22nd for the capital plan, he'll be presenting that. He won the chairmanship.
So next Wednesday, the 15th, the Capital Planning Committee is meeting to finalize the capital plan for the annual spring town meeting.
Yes,
So if all goes well, I'll be able to speak to that, Article 6 next
Yes.
week. We're also beginning to talk about the capital for the special town. That won't be firmed up for at least another 2 weeks. Okay, once the warrant article is published, then I'll be able to come in and talk about that capital plan. So we got two capital,
would you have a preference to waiting until both are complete?
no, I think if it goes along with this whole warrant, with the regular annual. So a week from today,
Okay,
I'll speak to this Article 6.
okay, the annual town
Yeah.
meeting.
2 weeks from today. The 22nd is 2 weeks.
I can do it next week
You
if you
can do
got
it
it,
next
if you
week.
got
Okay.
time for me.
We
Well,
always
next
make
week
time
is
for
the
you, Jerry.
15th,
If you make,
you're in conflict with your own meeting then.
no, my meeting's at 12:30.
Okay.
Oh, that's right, the numbers, they're on the clock, you're the only one that's not.
How about you in a raise, Jerry?
Yeah, so I work with people that get paid, so we gotta do it during their payday, yeah.
Okay, and Article 7 is the budget. As I was referring to, there is more money has come out through our state legislature. and a cherry sheet, so that we've got a little few extra dollars, and Derek is currently working on distributing that around to the municipal side, and there's 1.5 million going over to the school side, so they not only have the 1.5 for the school, the FY for their budget, they also have monies left over for the ESSER account. So they have almost 3 million, I would say, at least, over and above what is coming out of our tax dollars.
Will they be adjusting their budget? Or will we see where the money goes?
We're going to be having them here also.
Because the cherry sheet was very good to the schools.
Extremely good, generous to the schools. The budget that we review in December per our charter is not the same one they actually turn in on January 5th, because obviously in the interim, they and Derek have negotiated and talked about it. And now, under the circumstances, that budget is not the one that is going to be presented or requested because of the extra dollars that have come in. And yes, we definitely will have them before us and ask where it's going.
Exactly. That would be my question,
Yes,
given what we've learned about kids are struggling, math, where is that money going?
well, there's an
I'd be very
interesting
interested in that.
chart that was presented by Wareham Week that the school gave to them, and it shows the shortfalls. And I was going through their agendas, and I didn't see any line items that would address any extra courses or tutoring, et cetera, that may help these kids come up to speed. in
They're
their
gonna have
learning.
a bus service for summer school this year.
Are they?
Yeah, so they're gonna make it more of a year-round process.
And that's just to catch up, I always feel.
Yeah, no, it's, the catch-up is definitely needed. And we're gonna be discussing some issues tonight about money that we're spending in areas where we're encouraging more low-income housing.
Mhm.
That means a more difficult teaching assignment.
And, okay, going right along, we have Article 8, which is the emergency medical services. We reviewed that. Upper Cape, any idea,
Tomorrow night, give them the budget to the school committee, and then on, is the 16th a Monday? Then
It's a
gonna be-
Thursday. It's a Thursday. March 16th is a Thursday.
Yeah, 15th, next Wednesday.
Okay. I'm not sure, but it might be the next Thursday or the next one. I'll let you know, but the public hearing for the budget will be coming up. He's gonna give it tomorrow night, we'll get it to the school committee to vote on it, and then I believe the next week is the public
public
meeting.
meeting?
Yeah,
Okay,
I'll let
well-
you know after tomorrow, I'll let you know. I can send you a message.
Okay, I will, I or Nora will contact him directly,
Okay,
and
and then if you
try
wanna
try
see.
for the last week, and we'll do the last week of this month perhaps.
Okay.
That would give him time for his
Yeah,
public meeting.
Yeah, he said that we could go to the school, for our meeting and service
Yeah.
dinner or whatever.
I think having him come before us is
Yeah,
better
but we
than
can
going
do,
into a
we can
group.
do it there if you'd like, and he said he'd feed us. It's your call.
Well, that gave me pause.
The food
He
is
bought
good.
my vote, oh.
Well.
Is that bribery? Is that what you're trying to say?
Oh, no. If we're conducting business
Okay.
during the timeframe.
But that's what he said. If not, he'll come here whenever you want. But I will let you know when the public hearing's gonna be.
You know, I think, I really appreciate what he's offering, but my own personal feeling is it should be done here because it does
Okay.
go out on
On
the,
TV.
on TV.
Our TV, yeah.
People
Okay.
may
Right.
like to see it,
Yeah, no
It's just-
problem with that. Yeah, no problem.
but if he wants to give another talk,
No, you can you can go to the public meeting.
uh,
We can all go to the public meeting. Whatever. I'll let you know.
Thank you.
thank you.
And then Article 10 is the enterprise fund, we've seen that. Article 11, CPC reserves, we had that in the initial when we started last
I
week.
think it's the 16th.
And, but those, we could actually, because they're housekeeping, and some of those I'm quite sure will be in a, passed over as we've done in the past, because there's really no debate regarding any of them. Let's see,
You wanna do them individually, you wanna do a couple at a time?
well, I was gonna ask for votes, but I'm looking to see, no, it's on, let's see, it's just on the agenda of a discussion, so we're not, we can't vote on it tonight. But by all means, we can discuss it, of course. We haven't reviewed them, is also the last line on it, and that's the issue, phraseology. We're discussing those housekeeping warrant articles, and we're discussing in a possible vote on articles already reviewed.
At the end of the meeting, we'll have reviewed them, right?
That
You're
is
splitting a
correct.
hair, aren't you?
No,
You know,
no,
for
I
an-
think it's a
For
fair.
an attorney, you're splitting an hair. Julie, can we have a ruling on that?
Judge Julie.
Not to be confused with Judge Judy.
I can't yell upon the table like she does it,
These are
sorry.
selectmen votes.
As she says, in my opinion, is the only one that counts.
These are the dates.
Okay, we can go through the housekeeping articles. In the opinion of the chair, considering there is no necessary debate on them,
What we're supposed to do tonight.
we can vote on those.
I think, we can vote on everything but Article 9. We don't have that yet.
No,
That's true.
no, that's Upper Cape.
Well, and do we need to hold off on 4, because it doesn't have the golf course?
Yes, that's correct. You're right. Very good. Okay, and Article 1, the election of officers.
I move to recommend.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Any discussion? There being none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? On Article 2,
I move to recommend.
Second?
motion's made and seconded. Any discussion? There being none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Compensation of certain elected officials.
Article 3, I move to recommend.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Any further discussion? There being none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Article
Skipping
5.
over Article 5, occasional reports.
I move to recommend.
Second?
Motion's made and seconded. Any discussion? There being none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Now, because the next one is a moneyed article, which would be the EMS budget, I'll ask for a roll call on the count.
I move we recommend Article 8.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Any discussion? This is on the emergency medical services. I have no indication that that budget is being changed at all.
Question.
Yes,
Should we wait? We're saying that it might not be, but,
That's an enterprise account, though, that's probably,
oh, you're right, I'm sorry, you're
We're not
100%
gonna make
right, so
changes
so it
to it.
can't change.
well, he could change it,
Change
right?
it,
He's
but-
not gonna, you know, I
I'm not
mean,
gonna add money to it anyways, enterprise fund.
Right.
no, we only got
Okay.
so many ambulances and only so many people can
Fine,
man them.
move on.
Any further discussion? There being none, may I ask a clerk to call the roll, please? Get your list up so you know who's there.
Jody?
yes.
Tom Hannon?
Yes.
Tom Worthen?
Yes.
Dominic Camerano?
Yes.
Gerald Stefanski?
Yes.
Julie? Myself, yes. Norma?
Yes.
Bernie?
Yes.
900.
Thank you. The next one, Article 10,
I move to recommend.
Can I'm not sure that that's ready. I was talking with Derek, I'm not sure that it's quite ready.
really?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll pass on that then.
Interesting.
I can understand that I've
There's a
gotten
lot,
on
there's
the
a lot
periphery
going
of
on,
that.
that's for sure.
Yeah.
Indeed there is, yes.
I think they're full of shit.
Thank you, Jerry.
Nicely put.
How do you really feel?
Article 11 is the CPC fund reserves. This is the allocation of the funds
Yep.
through the three that have to go through it's housekeeping.
I move, recommend Article 11.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Any discussion? There being none in the money article, may I ask the clerk to call the roll, please?
Jody,
Yes.
Tom Hannon,
Yes.
Dominic Camerano,
Yes.
Tom Worthing,
Yes.
Gerald,
Yes.
Julie,
Yes.
myself, yes, Norma,
Yes.
Bernie.
Yes.
In favor, 900.
The next one, 16, which is a transfer of funds from the reserve, I think, to the
Or Harbor Reserves.
Harbor Reserves, yes.
I move we recommend Article 16.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Any discussion?
Do we know the amount?
It's in the article.
Yeah, it was-
$8,750.
There being none, may I ask clerk call the roll, please?
Jody,
Yes.
Tom Hannon,
Yes.
Dominic Camerano,
Yes.
Tom Worthing,
Yes.
Gerald,
Yes.
Julie,
Yes.
myself, yes, Norma,
Yes.
Bernie.
Yes.
An affirmative, 900.
And the only,
19?
yeah, I think it's, can't remember, no, there isn't, I don't think we got an amount for the McKinney-Vento, but this is the only thing they can do with these funds. And they can't use them until we transfer them into the, excuse me, Transportation Department. And it's monies that are given to them by the state based on the number of homeless children.
We didn't hear a number on that, right?
It's also a revolving account.
Yeah, on the school side.
The only trouble with that fund is it takes like years to get the money back. I don't even think they paid last year's yet.
What can we do?
No, it
Well,
runs,
you can't do anything, you're right.
yeah,
I'm just saying it's
it runs a year,
terribly run, yeah.
yeah, I think it runs a year
In
in arrears. They get reimbursed for the last year.
Right.
I move we recommend Article 19.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Any further discussion? There being none, may I ask the clerk to call the roll, please?
Jody,
Yes.
Tom Hannon,
Yes.
Dominic,
Yes.
Tom Worthing,
Yes.
Gerald,
Yes.
Julie,
Yes.
myself, yes, Norma,
Yes.
and Bernie.
Yes.
All in favor, 900.
Okay, that's the limit on the housekeeping. We can go back now and, let's see. First one we have is the Woodland Cove. Or is there one in particular you would like to take first out of order?
Wait, I think
Well,
you'd like to hear about
We skipped
your article?
Skip C.
Well, actually, we'd like to
Discussion, see if we
give
can
you an
process this one.
update.
David isn't here.
Okay.
It's okay with me.
I'm sorry.
I saw,
She
oh,
said
I'm sorry.
update.
I saw these young ladies sitting back there, so I didn't wanna make them, they didn't wanna hang around
Are
and
you the
wait
chair?
through all the others.
No, we're willing to wait through all the other ones. How do you think we go to town meeting being prepared?
Okay.
Well, I understand, I've seen you at other meetings, and I just know where you are, because there are two bright lights shining out of the audience.
Got the shovel.
A big one. Okay.
Okay, Article 12, Woodland Cove. Any comments?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Jody?
So I have a few comments, and I'm gonna kinda group all the affordable housing together, so I don't have to repeat myself for each one. I've been all over the map, my thinking with all these money that keep coming for this affordable housing. And then when I get directly impacted, I'm in the butter to an affordable housing in front of me and one behind me. I got the notices and all that that's going on, so I dug a little deeper, things that are going on.
It's on paper.
And,
It's okay.
you know, when I hear the money, the numbers, and just this number last night, this Woodland Cove's the first one, the medium income they're using is $65,775. Even if you take 80% of that for affordable housing, there's a lot of people in Wareham that needs affordable housing, and that's still a big number. Yeah, I know there's vouchers, and I understand how the system works. I just wish it would be a little bit more friendly to Wareham people. I mean, to me, we're giving them money, and we're not getting a whole lot in return.
But-
This is just my opinion, I'm not,
agree,
I'm
I
just,
agree.
you know, I've looked at a lot of this. I can tell you, as an example, one of the affordable housing that's going in across the street from me, the state told them they could get $3,000 a month regular rent, and for the affordable housing, it's $2,750. That's $250 less. That's, I think, and they're not asking for money, it's not one of these projects. But I just think, when you look at the affordable housing and the medium income, and everybody knows the reason why, it's a real disservice to our residents here in Wareham. I would just, so, in my heart, I believe these projects, with or without our money, they're gonna move forward. Make no mistake about it. So, you know, I know my ex-friend over there, we had a real disagreement last year on one of them.
Chomping at the bit to answer, go ahead.
Good, you're not disappointing me, but I'm giving this a lot of thought, and, you know, I mean, I understand we need housing and stuff, and I can tell you the two projects that impacted me directly, one I'm all for, one I'm not. One I think there's more of a need in this town. Those that don't know, the Atlantic Hotel on Depot Street, they're converting to apartments. So I'd say the same thing for all three of them, so I can be quiet for the other couple now. Okay, Dominic, you got the floor.
No, okay. The only problem I have with CPC money, it's a great project. I don't believe we should give it to private enterprise to make money. It's my money, it's your money. You're giving it to someone else to make money. I'm not saying affordable housing is wrong. I'm all for it. But I don't believe we should be in giving money to private enterprise to make a profit.
May I respond?
You may respond.
What do you think makes this country go round? This is
My
what,
money to make money.
this
Your
is,
money. Go ahead.
this is what our tax dollars go for. They go into private companies to create solar farms, for example, all kinds of businesses. This is a huge need in this state and in this country. The CPC funds have to be used for affordable housing. These are really excellent looking projects to me. I'm quite impressed with both of the two projects that are on the table. They do provide a community benefit. In particular, the Littleton Drive is providing trails that we can walk on, anyone can walk on. They're providing a community building that we can reserve for our private parties if we want to. And they're providing at least the Littleton project is providing priority for Wareham
And it's
residents.
also towns involved in that.
Yes,
Town ownership, we gave them the land.
right.
It's really not a
I understand that.
for-profit, private for profit.
I understand that, but it's a very small amount of money in the great scheme of things. It has to be used. The money is there and it has to be used. I don't have a project to collect on. This is a small part of their huge project, and we really need the housing. So I'm absolutely in favor of it.
Matt, okay.
We have two separate housing articles in here, and I think they're both completely different articles. Woodland Cove is the largest in the district. It's the largest housing complex. I just read an article in the paper the other day, the fire department was doing testing down there and all that. One of the largest complexes in the state, almost 200 units in that small space. There's no preference for Wareham residents. The other project has preference for Wareham residents, so we're bringing in people from outside the town, which is going to, I know they say it's what, an average of 2 kids?
2.8.
2.8 kids. But we're bringing in more kids than we're taking from the town and just relocating. It's,
I would say
I think
right.
it's, I don't know, I think that project is way too big and they're asking way too much.
Okay, can I speak
But now,
again?
yeah, you
Okay.
can.
We're spending CPC funds, and we're gonna do nothing but add spending for the town. Tremendous with education, everything, okay? We're bringing, it's gonna cost,
We're adding costs to the town.
cost to the town,
Yeah,
and yet we wanna give them money to make money to give us more cost. Come on, hello, that makes no sense.
This particular project, I don't agree with. I think it's way too big for the area.
And I totally agree with Matt. I've watched the presentations. I watched them again last night. I thought the Woodland Cove was disrespectful to a town employee, and I'll leave it at that. And I think the Littleton Ave.
The Littleton Drive.
Drive.
Yep.
Sounds great, but in all my years, I've always tried to stay consistent. If I want, and that's just me being me, so, and I totally agree, I think the Littleton Ave looks,
Littleton
Drive, sorry.
Yeah.
Looks great.
Yeah.
Okay, let's stick on,
I would agree with what Tom said. I am not in favor of giving public money to private enterprise. And there's very little actual affordable housing in this project. If it was 50-50 or something, it would be maybe it's a different conversation. There's very few units that are actually affordable here. So we're gonna give money that we've collected from taxpayers to a private enterprise when we have so many other things that it could be earmarked for.
Exactly.
It just doesn't make sense to me.
And one question I asked because I agree with Norma, community space, for me, there's some of that coming back to us, but I'm not sure if they talked about cost overruns, it's getting expensive, that may not be built. So in other words, they may decide they're not committed to build a community center, they may decide they don't build a community center, so I always worry about projects down the road, things happen, fully permitted, and the trails don't get finished, or, not to say that would happen, but I've seen projects that they change as things evolve, as
Fall
costs
apart,
go up and all of that, so that would be a concern I have. There's no commitment, you're not required to do it, it's something that they've agreed to do, but
Well,
also about that.
I believe there's a meeting across the hall. But David was going to be here this evening, he's the chair of CPC. And I asked him, because of you and Norma and Tom, to explain the process that CPC goes through, A, to authorize, and B, to monitor. Just to give you the information, as you point out, these may not take place because of off-out overruns. In the course of CPC, they specifically have to build that, or they don't get the money, because they don't get the money until after the fact. It's not part of their overall project. I have my $2 million with 400,000 of the CPC money. No, you have spent $2 million. And they go in and see the paths are built,
right.
the clubhouse is built. Said, okay, now we'll give you the money.
Okay.
Say,
And we'll only give you the money that costs for that. They wanna see the accounting.
Yeah, and I haven't seen the permits and all of that to say, yes, we will, versus we hope to do it, or something like that.
So we're only
So-
voting on one tonight anyway, because the other one, Littleton, is on a spring special. So we really should just be
Yeah.
talking about
Right.
the,
Yeah, there's one, the only
Woodland
one.
Cove.
Yeah, and the Woodland Cove is already.
Littleton, the town, the Wareham Redevelopment Authority invited them in. Okay?
Yes, because it was town-owned
Right,
property.
Woodland Cove was not invited.
No.
There's a difference.
Yeah,
Okay.
agreed.
So,
On
I-
the other hand, I would say, what was there before? This is a big.
what was, which place before?
Silver Lake Motel.
Yeah,
This is a big
I
improvement.
understand, but, one was invited in by the town, one was not.
Sure.
Okay, we're only talking about Woodland Cove tonight. So to me, it gets confusing. Okay, if we're gonna vote Woodland Cove, they
So-
knew better. They're a big corporation. Personally, I don't think they should get any money. Me.
If I may correct you, I think that was the old drive-in,
That was what?
the old drive-in.
Oh, okay, I thought
At
they
that
said it
location.
was the Silver Lake.
That's
No.
on the
There
front
was a
side.
hotel there they ripped down.
There was a,
Right.
there was a motel
Something.
up front, but where,
I
in the
guess I
back there
never
was
saw
an
the
old.
drive-in.
You know where 7-Eleven is?
Yeah.
Or if you ever drive
Right on
by
the other side of
front,
7-Eleven.
Yeah.
Silver Lake's up, it's a rat hole up
well,
Cranberry Way.
It's gone now,
It's,
but,
it
yeah.
is,
It's
it's flat.
closed, yeah,
Yeah, well, it's gone,
it's gone.
it's gone. If you haven't driven by the project yet, I mean, there's 3 of the buildings already up, 4 of the buildings will become community.
Oh, I know, I saw them,
community
yeah.
center.
If you want to go to the
It's
drive,
huge.
now you gotta go to Wellesley.
Well, that wasn't, that's not the Silver Lake though, Matt.
Right, so-
No,
In
Silver
my
Lake
view,
is
they've,
Up farther, yeah.
Oh.
It's a little rat hole up farther.
Yeah,
It's not it's not the hotel that was been demolished a long time
that's the one
ago.
across from Waterway.
Tom, let's have Tom and join us.
Yes, sir, Tom.
My concern with this is the fact that our school system is under pressure. And a big part of that pressure is caused by kids that are underparented, as it were. And the reason these businesses are even getting into offering low-income housing is because of whatever the laws that we have,
40B.
10%
40B.
low-income housing.
20%.
And we have in this town more motels, more mobile homes than any state in we're getting no credit for low-income housing
That's right.
that is provided by those people there. And also, generally, the students that are coming out of there can be of foster nature, so they're even more difficult than the low-income housing that may be going into the existing low-income housing that we have beyond the trailer.
I would like, if I could just,
Beyond the mobile homes. So my vote is, I wouldn't vote for any of these until the state recognizes
The mobile
and
homes.
get the fact that the mobile homes provide low-income housing. And within that, if they do that, then these guys they don't have to do anything. They don't have to put any low-income housing at all. They just, it's not an issue anymore, and they can't run over our zoning laws.
Yeah, the permits and zoning is
Permits.
all relaxed because of it,
Yeah.
yeah.
but they do have to give the 50-year restriction, which is, that's part of this. So they'll all have,
On the land,
they'll have
yeah.
the 50-year restriction no matter what happens,
You know,
The restriction on what?
on it, that it's gotta be affordable.
stay affordable.
I wouldn't
No.
go.
Yes.
No.
50 years.
They don't have to, the only
15
reason,
years.
the only reason they get into the zoning,
If they go 40B,
You're right.
but if they have a 15-year mortgage, and that's their commitment to be affordable housing.
forced by
This
what?
says a 50-year affordable deed restriction to be
Right.
recorded.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on the deed, it's not on the owner.
But that's how to even get the thing going through.
Right.
They have to,
If I own a mortgage on it, if I have 15 years, at the end of 15, I can sell it off, or I can apply to change back from affordable housing
So what
to
you're s-
regular housing.
They
Yes,
sell
but
it
you
to
have
them.
But there
Yeah.
is a
Deed.
deed restriction,
There's a
that would
deed
have to be
restriction.
dealt
the
with.
40B
Yeah.
restriction goes away if they accept mobile homes.
Well,
These
our
guys can
lack
come in
of
here and
40B.
put in whatever they wanna put in the.
Yeah, unfortunately, we need my understanding is we need legislation to accept mobile homes.
Which
We've
we
been trying,
don't have
we've
in
been trying
progress
for
on.
years.
We're going
And
way
Representative, help us
beyond
out
it,
here.
please, come back, and just to say,
Yeah.
we have some 1,200 mobile homes in our community. We have the largest of any community in the state. They are considered, they're not considered homes, they're considered,
Trailers.
They don't own the land.
They
Property.
just
That's
pay
their
excise
own.
tax.
They're considered
They pay
personal
excise
property.
tax.
Yeah, they pay
Yeah.
excise tax, no
And
property
They're
tax.
arguably not
Right.
affixed to the land,
Right,
arguably.
right, they rent the land.
but they are
Yeah.
affordable and they are housing.
So anyways, getting
Put
back
down
to the
the line.
affordable housing and my feelings on this is,
Thank you.
this hotel behind me that they're changing over, I didn't really know what was going on, and I went and I saw that the Wareham Housing Authority is gonna manage them. So I said, that's interesting, and then I
You
called
talking
Bernie
about
up.
the Woodland Cove now?
No, I'm talking when it's gonna be coming up, probably in front of us.
Woodland Cove.
No, he's
I'm
talking
just
about one
talking
that
in
hasn't
general.
happened
No,
yet.
But my
we're going
point
to
being
stay on Woodland
Yes.
Cove.
Is,
Yes,
that's being run by the Wareham Housing Authority, and I feel like we have a more of a vested interest in it for what they need
Oh,
and what
indeed.
their things are. So if something like that came up looking for money, I'd be more apt because it's,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's,
I'm done. I'll be quiet.
You
I lost my
promised that
screen.
before. But we love you, Jody.
So my view is to, and the schools are probably the biggest magnet we could potentially have in town if they were top-of-the-line schools.
My whole issue with any one of these subsidized housing is because we're in the Boston market, when they say what is affordable rent, using the criteria that's in legislation, you bring it down and they're paying allegedly for rent what I'm paying in my mortgage, and I got almost 8 rooms in my house. And what they're doing now is we're subsidizing their construction, then we subsidize their rents so they get sufficient funds to pay that rent.
How do we subsidize their rents?
They get,
Not the
We-
town, you're not talking about the town, you're talking about the state?
they're talking about the individuals.
How about section 8?
They'll be, well,
Where do
all,
you
could
think
be all,
they section
could be
8
any
stuff,
of
your
that,
tax dollars?
yeah.
I understand that, but
Okay.
it's not the town
All
itself.
right.
I'm worried
No,
about the
Somebody,
town.
somebody make a
Okay.
motion to move the article.
Make them, okay.
Where are we?
On
Article
Article
12.
12.
Article 12, motion to recommend. Is this gonna be a positive motion?
What is this now?
Gotta be a
We're voting on
positive, yeah,
Woodland
second.
Cove?
Motion's made and seconded. Any further discussion? There being none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll.
Excuse me, question. What are we actually, we're voting on, yes or no in the article?
We're voting
To recommend.
to
To recommend.
approve, to recommend.
But it has to be,
Recommend to the
it
town.
has to be a
I
positive.
understand,
Yeah,
no, thank you.
So
the selectmen sometimes get that mixed up because
Yeah.
but what it's for is when you don't have to see the writing, you just see the numbers, and the sequence of numbers tell you the correct resolution. And Patrick used to turn it around in selectmen. So you'd never know. Anyway, okay,
Okay.
on Article 12, may I ask the clerk to call the roll, please?
Jody,
No.
Tom Hannon,
No.
Dominic,
No.
Tom Worthing,
No.
Gerald,
No.
Julie,
No.
myself, no. Norma,
Yes,
Bernie,
No.
so it's 180. Article failed.
Yes.
No, just not recommending.
Article's not recommended.
Article 13, Sawyer Conservation Area. They wish to assist in the purchase, the Wareham Land Trust.
Oh, that's a good way to spend the
More
money.
than that right now.
They have some updates they,
Yeah.
they'd like to give us.
If you are so inclined, we did get our appraisal for this, for the piece of property, and it is 42,500, okay? The purchase price, we have a P&S on it for 30,000, so that's, we're doing okay there. The survey, we have been able to find a recorded survey, or a survey that was done by the trustees of reservation, that shows the property as being 10.17 acres, not the 12 acres that the assessor's office looks at. That appraisal is based on the 10.17 acres that the survey shows. I know, it's one of those where the old rocks and stumps and trees and wherever, and it had been one giant parcel at one point in time, and that got sectioned off to here, who, and there, and surveys had not actually been done on it since forever. So, I just wanted to bring it, we wanted to bring it to your attention, that the acreage should be reflected in probably the town meeting article. It's in the explanation, not in the article itself.
So you're,
You
well,
want us to go move some stones for you and stuff like that, get it back to 12?
Well, the deal is that there's 3 sides. The trustees owns 2 of it. The land trust already owns another one. The fire district is right down here. So there's one little piece of land that is still privately, will still be privately owned. But if you look at their recorded deed and our or the recorded survey and our recorded survey, they line up. So we don't really feel that that it's worth spending $50,000 trying to hunt down that other acreage.
So you're gonna just make a friendly amendment on the floor?
It's not
We
an
were just
article.
talking to CPC, and they would rather not bring it up on the floor, which is why we came over
Okay.
there.
Well,
So,
if
yeah.
you,
Just asking.
even if you leave it as is, as you're well aware of with CPC, if you only spend 30,000, that's all you spend.
It says plus or
It says
minus.
48
as
in
well.
That doesn't have to
It
change.
says
We
12
don't,
plus or minus.
Yeah.
And the explanation says 12 plus or minus.
Correct.
Yeah.
Again, we didn't know if it was too late to change that number in the explanation, or if these are already printed or not going to press yet.
and if, when it comes to fruition, when you've made the purchase and closed, the purchase of it, and there's 18,000 left,
That money
CPC
will
would
go
just
back
close
in.
it out.
Money goes back in
Right,
anyways.
she's talking about printing for
Well,
the,
there's
Talk
another
about
article.
changing and printing in the book.
she's talking about for the warrant.
The warrant is as it's written now.
Can't change it.
It's 48,000. What will happen is that there'll be an article on subsequent town meeting to say, close out the articles by, and they'll be presented by CPC, because there's a balance of funds you didn't need.
Okay.
And it gets kicked back.
Yeah, no,
Say
I
kickback.
understand that. It's just about having the number
Have
of
a
the
number.
the acreage be
The acres.
correct.
The description
in the
of,
explanation.
I'm from old farm country, where is the northwest corner is the large rock.
Yeah,
By the oak tree.
exactly,
Of course,
exactly.
I used to pick blueberries down there.
is the
Okay.
wording as written for 12 plus
I have
or
a-
minus
I have a
acres,
question.
okay for the warrant, or does it need
What-
to be updated?
Steps do you take
Does it need to be
to
updated?
No.
investigate what may be buried in there?
That's what she was asking.
Because it's
represents
making reference
environmental
to
hazard
the
or
land.
something that may
Right.
come
The
up.
fact
in-
that there's plus or minus doesn't
Sure,
matter.
explain.
by
What is irrelevant?
That's what she was
We
talking
did
about,
do
was whether or
an
not that needs
have
to
an
be updated.
environmental assessment done on the property.
21E.
And what they have done is, they went back, looked at all of the land use records for that area. Because it's in the proximity of Route 25, they looked at any accidents and tanker spills or whatever that could have been there. They looked at what else was there. They did a physical walk of the property, and said, as far as we can tell, there's been no human disturbance here for millennia, or as long as, we can tell.
Can-
So-
Can we get protected in that, to that degree, to make sure that nothing is there?
Well, you have a covenant on it now, they put a covenant on it, it's automatic.
Yeah, so there will be a conservation restriction on it.
Well, no, but supposing they find out that there was oil under there something under there that we have to,
Toxic
Clean it
cleanup.
all
we've
back
got
to
an
deadly
we've got an
assessment.
environmental hazard, where do we,
Well,
what
it sounds like
what
they got
happens
a
at that
21E, Tom, that's what.
Yeah.
It's called a 21E.
21E.
And the 21E comes with a,
With a certification by the
it's like
environment-
title insurance on your home.
Yeah.
It comes with an insurance thing, a
It's a
21E.
bond,
So
basically.
they
Whatever
did a
company
walkover,
did
did
it.
they do any test pits or anything, or just the
They,
walkover?
they didn't do any test pits because it's never been any
Yeah,
kind of
they only do
industrial
the,
use.
No
They'll use
cause.
a test,
Right.
If
no
they
cause
had
to
if
do
it's
a
test
test.
warranted, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, there may be Indian remains, who knows what the heck is there?
Doing an archaeological survey is totally different than doing an environmental assessment. So,
Gosh, let's not bring that up, Tom.
Well,
Let's
I
not get
just
there,
wanna know what
Colin.
risk you run into, because, I mean, look at what's happening right down at Tremont Nail, for crying out loud. We've been-
Well, let's not go too far, Tom, please, let's stick to the issue.
Well,
For the time being, let's stick to the issue of this piece of property.
I just wanna know how you protect yourself against those things, because they happen.
well, because, an environmental engineer
Yeah.
has told us that in
That
their
comes with-
professional opinion, we have nothing to be worried about.
All right.
And that's why they went back though, to see what other land uses happened. Tremont Nail, we know what was happening there.
A 20, Tommy, a 21E. You know, when you buy a home, you get title insurance.
I've been involved with an asbestos one. I
Okay,
know.
so, well, but the company who gave the 21E almost it has like an insurance thing that goes along with it, just like title
Okay.
insurance for your home.
Okay.
That's what I know
The
about.
highway that's there now
So
is
then what's-
40 years old?
Well, and you'd have, if in fact, heaven forbid, something was found, the town didn't create the issue presumably.
Yeah, you would go back
So
to
the-
DEP would locate the owner, who would be, they'd have to go back and determine who was the owner at the time, and they would have
And
recourse
also
against
the
the prior
environmental
owner.
21E company, it takes responsibility for it also.
I move we recommend Article 13.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Any further discussion, specifically on the solar conservation purchase? There being none, may I ask the clerk to call the roll?
Jody,
Yes.
Tom Hannon,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes,
Tom Worthing,
Yes.
Gerald,
Yes.
Julie,
Yes,
myself, yes, Norma,
Yes,
Bernie,
Yes,
all in favor? 900.
thank you. The next one, Article 14, which is the Depot Street Train Station.
Any comments? Yes.
yes.
Dominic, I'll go first with you.
Oh, I feel bad now.
No, let Jody,
No,
Jody,
no,
no,
I'm
no,
just
Jody, I want you to go first. Yeah, As my present to you. Help yourself, pal.
He's closer to it.
Professional courtesy, thank you, Jerry.
Yeah. I mean, funny thing, there's another that's just around the corner from me I can walk right to.
So,
You're a busy
Yeah.
camera.
Yeah?
You know, I thought those folks made a great presentation last week. I think it's something great for the town. I think this is an upgrade to that corner. Everybody knows what it used to look like. But I get feedback and I'm looking at this and I'm concerned. They're talking about a $1.2 to $4 million project and they're coming to us to do the outside of the building for $400,000. And I'm looking at this and somebody told me to check out the mortgage, which certainly not my expertise, so I went to somebody that is an expert. Julie, I mean, and, you know, you talk about the 21E, they did a preliminary one, but where they did a private mortgage, if I'm using wrong terms, let me know.
yeah, well, the seller took back paper, right, took back.
more than half.
Well, he only put $35,000 down on it.
He's got a balloon mortgage.
He's got a balloon mortgage. That's a lot of money. My concern is, they take this $400,000 and he can't come up with the other $1 million plus pay his mortgage. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts there. I don't know how else to put it. And we have an empty building there with a nice outside exterior. It's concerning. I think the whole concept is a great idea, and I know there's a lot of people in town supporting this, but I think our job as the finance committee is looking at the money side of it. And I have some concerns because that's a big note he's taking on. I go by there a couple times a day, and it never looks what I would call busy, selling gas or doing mechanics work. I know he owns that construction company and all that, but,
There's two people that own it.
yeah, but, it's very concerning at this point. I think they got ahead of themselves a little bit. I know they're trying to get in and get it done. I would have liked them to see them do a little bit more homework per se and come maybe for the fall town meeting and see what they can come up with and get some of these things addressed. I saw some of the stuff flying around, questions and stuff. And I thought as a committee, some of our concerns, I can't speak for the CPC, is put some bullet points together that we find concerning and let them do their work and get back to us. But that's how I feel sitting here today.
May I just interject? Their request from their overall project, the 400,000, is a major part of it. That's at least 20% of the overall project is that investment. Dominic,
Okay. I don't know if I should say this on TV or not.
careful.
I know,
Careful,
I know,
Dominic.
I know. The parties involved in the ownership of it. Should be researched a little more. And I'm gonna leave it at that.
Thank you, yes, I was,
Okay, I'm gonna leave that alone. It just needs to be done before, money's given, and the other thing is, I'm gonna say the same thing I did before. I don't wanna give CPC funds to private enterprise to make money. But the ownership of the property.
okay, thank you, Don.
Thank you.
Anything else?
The
Sherry?
overall
Yeah,
project.
I've never funded a project from day one. It's usually after all the permits and are well on the way and they've got some skin in the game, other than a balloon payment, that they ask for CPC money. So that's just, in my point, it's underfunded and they don't have any permits, so it's a no-go for me.
Aren't we back though to, they can't get this money if the project doesn't become viable?
Well, then,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's my
no, it's not
question.
viable yet.
But no, I mean,
They can't
we can
spend this money
approve
till
it, but they can't, they will not get it back if the project's not, they will
won't
not get
get
the
it at
money.
all.
Then
the
they won't
project's
get
not
permits,
viable.
it's still upfront money,
Well, it's
but I
not-
wanna see them
But it's
have
not
some
the
money.
overall project is viable.
Come for the money
It's just that
until the
building.
work has
It's
been
just a
done.
restoration of the
Of the
exterior.
building, yes, of this
It-
one.
And that's
you-
400,000.
It may not be a business that makes any sense, but you'll have a railroad station there, there's no question about that, and then.
Well, it's not gonna be a station, Tom.
Huh?
They're not gonna use it for a
I
railroad
understand,
stop.
no, I
Oh,
understand
okay,
that, but
okay,
they're
okay.
gonna have a reconstruction
Excuse-
of the
Excuse-
the original building.
Excuse
If I
me,
can
can
on
I,
that
can I
one.
ask everybody to
Yeah, if I can on that
settle
one.
down a little bit?
As much as I absolutely love the overall concept of this project, and I understand what you're saying, that they're gonna redo the exterior of the building. The plans that they gave us don't match the existing building. I mean, the overall design of the building looks good, but they've torn the dormers off the top, they've changed the siding materials and the type of siding that's on it. So it's not gonna be, historically accurate. It's not gonna be what was originally in Wareham, it's gonna be to their design. Even the windows and doors are moved according to the plans that they submitted to us. The drawings that they have don't match what's,
And it was your home
existing.
for 20 years, I'm not gonna argue that.
I was there for, I worked in that building
Yeah.
for quite some time. But that original, what's there now, wow, it looks now compared to what the drawings that we received, drawings we received don't match the existing structure. They do architecturally, but they're changing a lot of the siding material, colors, stuff that, to me, I don't know, and I would have to speak to someone from a historical society to understand whether or not that type of change can be made with the restriction on it.
I guess, and I think maybe David will enlighten us. To me, it is, you need a special permit, a phase one, and then potentially phase 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, a structural engineering report. And I love the project, and I think that they were up against this deadline and really felt they had to jump in. So can we make it conditional that money doesn't go out the door until certain things are completed? If there's a
That's
phase
automatic.
one,
Already
and there's
done.
an issue,
Yeah, That's
then
already done.
this thing will.
That's
That's
automatic.
done, yeah.
Excuse me, when we had the presentation, if you recall, as Matt has mentioned, Tom, you agreed with him, that it shows the exterior, and the exterior has been changed. Now, I quote, "For a grant to Depot Auto LLC, 447 Onset Ave, Wareham, in the amount of $400,000 for the restoration of the Onset train station." Now, they addressed us that it was for the restoration of the exterior, to make it look like the back of the train station. The article gives them 400,000 for the entire project. There's nothing in now,
Right, so it's just the
we were
restriction.
talking about the fact that they are gonna restore the exterior. The article funds the entire project, as it's worded.
Contributes towards it. Certainly won't fund the entire project, right? Yeah.
Well, the 400,000, if there's, I can't remember, it was 1.2, 1.3 million? That's 30% of the entire project.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see CPC is in business of supporting or subsidizing an entire project. Not in this condition, because it's gonna be a private enterprise.
Based on their projections, which I think are
Yeah.
low.
Yes. I would concur.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't like the band shell, right? It's gonna be, it's a public piece that all the public is using and enjoying and everything. This is a private enterprise.
They're gonna rent out offices, and they're gonna rent it out and make money off it.
And they're way ahead of themselves. They rushed through this to get here. They're way ahead of the, I mean, I went by just to look at the building and to Matt's point, that building could be condemned.
Yeah, they have no reason to say it's a viable building right now.
Yeah.
Their studies haven't been done yet.
Yeah,
But
they
if it's
come to us with, with a plan, I'm sorry, a plan for X number of dollars, it could be 3 times that, 2 times that. I mean, the building may not be, it might not be able to do anything.
But if it's not
Yeah,
viable.
But if they
Tom-
can't deliver it, we don't
Excuse
get
me,
paid.
Norman, speak, please.
Excuse me.
Yeah, if it's not viable, they won't get the money.
Okay, that's right.
That's the thing, I mean, we've had this situation before where money goes back to CPC because it doesn't get spent.
Yeah.
Well, and unlike rental housing, helpful for some, as Jody pointed out, not enough. This is something that the community will use. I mean, those of us who live there, it is a wasteland there.
Right, it's a big, this would be a big
So
improvement.
it is a community benefit, including the community room or the community space, that doesn't exist there. So that, my only concern is to make sure that all of this pre-work is done. I would have liked, it's a year from now when they're coming with all of this done, so, but.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, they're here too early
Yeah.
in their
I'm
process.
gonna agree with that.
Make a motion, Joey.
I make a motion to recommend Article 14.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Any further discussion? There being none, may I ask the clerk call the roll?
Jody,
Wish you would make me go first. No.
Tom Hannon,
No.
Dom,
No.
Tom Worthing,
Yes.
Gerald,
No.
Julie,
Yes.
myself, no. Norma,
Yes,
and Bernie?
No.
3-6-0, motion doesn't pass.
Article 15, the Tremont Nail Factory Office.
this one the town owns. And
I think we got a yes vote over there.
I think we absolutely have to do this because we do own it, and because it's gonna fall down if we don't do it.
As we wait for something.
Whatever's
to
gonna
happen.
happen, but,
Yeah.
it is, I actually drove over there the other day, just like you. I drove by all this stuff in the last couple of days because I really wanted to see for myself. And I drive by the depot multiple times, that's just right there. But, paint's peeling, I'm sure it's leaking. I understand, it's probably got some mold, there's gonna have to be other remediation. But at the very least, we need to get the place dried in and not let it deteriorate any further. I just think that's very straightforward.
The scary part is though, they're sealing the building up even tighter, and
Are
mold
they?
takes off.
We put a roof on Hammond School last year because it needed to be fixed, and we know the condition of the Hammond School.
You gotta have it you have to have a roof, you can't have a
Well,
leaky,
roof's most important thing, I agree with
leaky
that.
top.
It all falls down, and
Yeah.
the developer goes away.
Yeah.
Although I wish we'd hear from this
Or
developer.
we have to put the money in, more money in later on.
Well, I think that would be my only concern, is we're going to put a historic restriction on this building, and we're handing over the property to a developer. What kind of,
Yeah, but it's still.
Well, we've already
Give it
invested an
to a-
awful lot of
excuse
money,
me.
and we're handing it
But
over to a
there's
developer.
difference. You're giving it to a developer, but it's town-owned.
It's leased.
right, it's
So
legal.
that's a huge.
But they can't change that building once we have the restriction.
But it's.
That's
still a
okay.
huge difference.
But what's
Thought they
the-
didn't wanna use that building to begin with.
Yeah.
Didn't somebody say that?
There's so many different plans
Yeah.
that they were floating, I don't remember.
That's one of the issues, yes.
There's a lot of other property there that they
Yeah.
can modify
Yeah.
and change, but,
Hopefully it's a triple net lease.
yes,
So they're assuming
A what?
everything.
triple net, yeah.
Triple
They,
net.
they have to take care of it.
Developer takes care of everything going forward. I would recommend.
So if they weren't using the building, they're still responsible for taking care of it. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yes. That would be a good thing,
That would be a good thing.
yeah. I think we wanna have a horizon for when the town stops every year having to do more with that building. Cause it looks like a bit of a money pit.
And that is nowhere near,
that sun isn't even halfway up. At this point, it's an albatross,
It's an
but
annual.
But we're already into it so deep.
Yeah, I
Take a mo-
agree.
I move that we
Motion.
recommend Article 15.
Second,
Motion's made and seconded, that's still the cutoff discussion. Any further debate?
Yeah, but I was gonna move you along with the debate part.
I think we've got to find out more about what the heck's gonna happen with that whole area now.
Down the road, you mean?
You know, the only thing I got out of the meetings that we've had previous to this is that Ken thinks that we should have the dam done in 3 years. And until you get the dam done, you don't know where we're at in that whole property. At one point in time, the boat company had storage in there, then some marijuana guy came in, couldn't use it, another marijuana guy came in, it's, as far as I know, it's still not being worked. We are getting screwed because we didn't make a good deal when we sold the nail business, that they didn't take care of the environmental impact on the property. There's just so many things that are not part of a total picture. And we're sitting here and spending $300,000, $200,000 on fixing a house that we know inside needs another $200,000 to become habitable. And who knows whether they're gonna ever have a house there, maybe a green square, after all this gets done. I wouldn't spend any more money on this until we have a plan or know what's gonna happen that is really viable, because we've been getting pasted since the year 2000, and we bought some money, and we haven't been able to even settle a lawsuit with the Cranberry Company as to where the hell the land, who owns what, and who's responsible for what.
The,
we have so much vested in it, we can't just leave it alone.
But
and
it's all
I'm not
we're-
sure there's
all we're saving
sufficient
is a
monies
house.
in this. We have an estimate from Ken of $295,000 for repair of that building, and they're only asking for $200,000. And I wouldn't like this to sound like the bandstand. We didn't have enough monies appropriated, so it sat there until we were able to get I can't remember, we got a little more money, but we also had town employees who actually did the work versus contracting out.
It almost goes to the old saying, where do you cut your losses?
No,
I mean, I don't know, if I had the answer to that, I'd be
I understand
a happy
that.
guy.
I look at it a little differently, that's all.
Yeah, I understand,
Town
but,
money for town projects.
Exactly.
I know when I took a tour of that building, they asked me my opinion on it, and I said, the only money I would vote for would be a big payload to knock the whole damn place down. Because the water lines inside there, and I know water tables change over the years. I said, wow, the wood's all rot. I said, this would have been a scary sight at one time with the dam there and the water coming down and actually being a nail factory. I don't know what they took in for water. But, in the grand scheme of things, it is still a town property. It's, where do we say enough is enough? For lack of a better word, or where do we cut our I don't know.
And just for a general reference too, this is the white building that's on the top of the hill as you
Yeah.
enter. It's not,
Yeah,
It could have value even if nothing ever happens with the rest of
With
it.
the
And
rest
it
of
is
the property,
truly an
correct.
historical building, it's right across from the museum,
Yeah,
I think it is definitely worth preserving.
Time for a vote.
I'm not even sure if that's part of the parcel that they're talking about with the development company.
It may not be.
I thought the development company was the whole shebang.
I
could
thought
be
so too,
wrong,
but I've heard-
I thought it was the whole thing.
Why don't we hold off, why don't we table this then?
Be nice to get, to Tom's point, a plan around,
but we're not
All
gonna
the
get that before
parcels.
meeting.
yeah, right,
So this is a decision we're gonna have to make before we have that.
yeah.
And I would add, again, with the CPC funds, we have to spend some money on historic preservation. Some of it is dedicated to that, and what better thing to do that for than a town-owned building?
Correct.
Any further
She
discussion?
agrees with me.
Imagine
it is a
that,
scary thought.
every once in a while.
Don't spread that, don't
So we're
spread that
gonna-
around.
As long
Yeah.
as it's low-income housing, it's,
Can I ask for, okay,
Do you
end
want
of discussion.
Saying you wanna wait for a plan, I mean, this has to be done for this town meeting, I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
it's.
Yes.
We're out of
We
time.
don't have time for
Yeah.
that.
Well, we can table it for another week until we get that.
Another week for, as far as our discussion is concerned.
I think
Right.
should.
We can
What,
bring-
you want to just wait
What
another
else
week?
we gonna
We can do
have?
that.
I
If
mean-
we have enough
Yeah,
questions, we
yeah,
can bring,
yeah, yeah,
ask
yeah.
Ken
I-
to come in.
I think we should
Well,
go.
whether or not the parcel of land included, for the developers includes that
Table
property.
it, I got no problem with it.
Well, I'll withdraw my motion if you withdraw your second.
Yes, sir.
Then deal, let's move.
Next.
Okay, we can do, if you like, Article 17, which effectively changes a word.
Oh, yeah.
I like this thing.
What does it mean?
I lost 17. We can't take 17, I've lost 17. How horrible, okay. 17 as.
You're changing the number 2 to the number
I
5.
understand, but what, I don't understand why
Amend
we're
zoning
doing
bylaw
this.
parking.
Okay, if
By
you have a
changing-
garage.
Yeah.
And you have lifts, rather than needing just 2 parking spaces for repaired cars, they're giving you 5 now.
Okay.
Or they want you to
They
have 5.
want you to have 5, okay.
So they want a little bigger area to call it a working garage. That's what I got out of it normally.
Yeah,
Okay.
it says, motor vehicle repair 5 parking spaces per lift or bay, or take any other action relative thereto. So you're right, it's just
Go up
changing
from
from
2 to 5.
2 garage, 2 with lifts. They can have a lift and all 5 if they have 5 spaces
No,
now.
that's not what
No,
they
no,
mean.
it's
No.
5 per lift.
Okay.
Yeah, you need
You need
5
5
spaces.
parking spots.
Yes,
per
you do.
lift.
Yes,
So you need 10 for 2 lifts.
Exactly,
Right.
exactly.
It's a minimum of 5.
And
then-
that's,
Oh,
is
okay.
this
Yes.
primarily
you're right.
to
You
keep
did well with
places from
that.
being congested?
Such a pencil.
So repair places
No, I
from
think
being,
it's to keep
Get my calculator.
parking cars not on their property.
okay.
Repair cars on the street.
Okay.
That's what
Yeah,
I
no,
got
okay,
out of it.
that's what I meant, yeah.
Right.
It's,
So you gotta park the vehicles on your own property.
Property.
That's what I got.
I got
If you
you.
wanna open up a garage, you have to have
That much
adequate
space.
parking
Okay,
for the vehicle.
I move we recommend Article 17.
Second.
Now, understand, before I recognize that we're gonna invite Ken back regarding Tremont.
Yeah, this is a simple,
I'm fine,
Okay.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
This is a simple one.
Okay, Martin,
Well,
Motion's made and
we're
seconded.
We're getting Ken back. Shouldn't we be getting the so-called developer?
no,
No,
we don't have a contract with them.
It's just,
They haven't signed
it's
anything
just a
yet.
matter of, it's the plot of land, that's all we wanna know is, so it's the
Town-owned.
assessor's plot.
Yeah, it's town-owned, so they,
So Ken
If
will
he
have
decides
that.
to make
But the developer's making certain requests before they even go ahead with it, and one of them is to get rid of the dam. I mean,
nothing to do with
we
it.
need to
that
do
has
No,
that
that's,
anyway.
that's the issue I just brought up. I'm not sure if the house is gonna be included in the plot that the developer is negotiating in.
And Ken would have that
So,
answer.
anyway, there's a motion on the table, they wanna withdraw or continue it.
Well, this one, no, continue.
Okay. On the motion. May I ask the clerk take a vote, please?
Jody,
Yes.
Tom Hannon,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Tom Worthing,
Yes.
Gerald,
Yeah.
Julie Moran,
Yes.
myself, yes, Norma,
yes.
Bernie?
Yes.
All right, 900, motion passes.
Okay, and that is it for that. Article C,
18?
David isn't here, I think they're across the hall in another meeting, so he's tied up, he was gonna come here. He was gonna answer the other questions regarding the process and reaffirm how the CPC holds the funds until the project is completed. It's not funding it by you were a third done, a third done, then a third done. You're either all done or you're not done. Any other business anybody wanna bring up? There's a number of issues that we've seen on select board, that are coming up on a special, although they haven't, they've opened the warrant but haven't closed it. And they had some hearings yesterday on some issues, and they had the last one, the dam was up. We haven't seen that yet. We'll schedule that hearing. because that's a petitioned article. Anything else? Jody had a good idea. We were talking, and I had asked that each one of you would be able to write something, instead of having a chairman's message, it would be a message from you. Tom asked the question last meeting, and he seemed concerned about exactly what he was asked to write on and all. And then Jody thought about, well, why don't each of us take one of the departments that we have an interest in or something, and write on that? And that way you won't have to think of a generalized view of the town as a whole or something of that nature. So it could be something at one particular department. It doesn't have to be, but it was a suggestion to give you an idea of being able to narrow down what you want to write on.
Yeah, so we don't all come in and say, oh yeah, we think the maintenance department did a wonderful job, you know, that type of thing. And I also said we could just draw out of a hat, so you might get the police and council on aging and whatever. If somebody wanted to make a trade, but this way we're not all sitting here saying, gee, I really want the police department, or, you know.
I was gonna take sort of a different view, because I was gonna come up with the fact that we don't get presented on a regular basis with the improvements in terms of the efficiency with which the town runs. And then I was also gonna be thinking of things that are the word local versus regional, so that we work out to grab out to those communities around us and work on things that are of a bigger nature, that solve the universal problems in a more efficient way. So
If-
I mean, I
Go
was
with
gonna-
that, go with that, Tom. You've got it all fleshed out.
That would get a lot of people saying, what the hell is this guy talking about?
They don't say that already, Tom, come on.
I walk out of here saying that.
So my thought was that we have some kind of a common theme, like,
Yeah,
why do I love Wareham? I mean, that sounds a little schmaltzy, but something like that. Why is this place worth all this time that so many volunteers put into it, that so many people put their hearts into? What is it about this that's special?
and using what Norman's theme is, you know, you could say, you know, the town of Wareham, I just love living here, the police department, I'm just
Yeah,
using the police department.
Right.
You know, is very responsive to this and this and this and this, and you can kind of carry that theme forward to whatever, you know, and I think my idea too, taking it a little bit further, you know, I always, in another life, I always told people, get to your point in the first paragraph, because I'm not reading the whole thing. So people might sit there and say, maybe the police or the council on aging, or, you know, the conservation commission, I mean, there's all kinds of things. People have different interests and different priorities. I mean, that's just human nature. I mean, I'm not.
Why were you always pointing to me when you said council on aging?
I can say something really wise
we
now, but I
almost all
won't.
qualify.
Yeah,
Jody, to your point, you've got 90 words in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
That's how much time you
Yeah.
have to get your point across.
How much attention
Yes.
you're gonna get.
Yep.
That's right.
What's gonna fit
It's a
on a phone
paragraph.
is what you have.
It's a paragraph.
Yeah.
Each of us can write a paragraph.
I say, yeah, I mean, people have,
But it'd be like eating M&Ms rather than getting a Hershey bar. I mean,
No one eats a Hershey bar, well, people do, but you know, that's the way that
M&Ms
we
are
consume.
It's a better way to put it.
Dark chocolate.
Yeah, it's like everything I read.
Don't make it any longer.
If I read a paragraph, first two sentences, if they're interesting, I'll go on. If not, I'm out.
You're on to the next.
On to the next one.
For me,
I like that.
I think I wanna share, you know, how gratifying it is to participate in town government and invite and talk about, we need your help. There are so many committees that need you, please come forward, so
I think that's
my
legit.
pitch at the end would be in a sentence to say.
That sounds great.
You can have an impact if you come, but only if you come forward with change.
Run with it.
Indeed, and you're right too, because I was looking at the list for the applications for open office positions, for electric positions. And Trish, your name's on there too. But only one, I think only one where there's a duplicate, where it might be two people actually running for the office.
There's actually 3 right now for selected positions, 2
two positions, 3 people running.
Right.
Yeah,
I think that's the only one.
Unusual.
yeah. You know, and I'm running the candidates night again this year like I did last year. Originally, I wasn't going to because nobody was running for these offices, which I think is a shame. But then I was asked, they said, yeah, nobody's running, but they thought it would be a great idea, I'm getting off our business a
That's
little bit,
okay.
is to bring in the people that are running, you know, like, you know, the school committee, if there's only 2, bring them in and let them ask questions and go for it and see what their job is and what they see for the future of Wareham. Same thing with the selectmen, you know, the selectmen could have a legitimate debate.
I have a candidate night.
Yeah.
That's what, yeah, I did last year, it was very successful, I think it was, I mean, I got good feedback, but this year I said, God, this is a shame, there's not more names on here, but,
But, you know, to play on that, for each one of us that run for elected office, we only get once during the entire 3-year term to actually address the people.
yep,
Because no one has open meetings anymore. They've got it's public participation under the open meeting law is you can go and sit and speak your piece, but they cannot have a conversation with you.
yeah,
You cannot discuss with any individual, elected official, school committee, selectmen. You cannot have a discussion at that meeting in the public participation
Yeah.
section. The only time you can discuss anything with them is if it is on the agenda.
In taking that a step further, talking to my partner in crime doing this, is, I'll use Bernie as an example, he's I'm assuming unopposed at this point, is bring the chairman of the committee in, or bring the department head in and sit with them, so people can ask Bernie as the candidate, or the chairman of the board, or the department head questions also. You know, in a school committee, I mean, I mentioned this to our town administrator when there was only gonna be 2 select people. I said, oh, you could sit in that night. You know, wise answer, but that's fine. I mean, it's a, you know, I will ask him again, you know, if it comes, I go that route. But exactly as Bernie's saying, people don't even know who some of the people are, that sign the checks every week per se, you know, it's.
You're saying really great things, and I'm interrupting, but I've learned how to do that pretty well lately. With all the work I did in the town and reaching out and asking people how they wanted to be communicated with, what did they wanna learn, so many people in our town don't even know what committees are
Yep.
available, or what, if they know a committee is there, they don't understand what it is or what it means. I think your initial thought about each one of you stepping out and talking about a group or a committee or a department that is key to you and why, I think that's gonna do a lot more education to anyone who reads that than we get right now. Than our citizens don't have that right now.
You know, in feeding off what Trish just said, if you don't mind, is, you know, maybe we each take a department, and, you know, I might get the police department and the finance committee, you know, each get a committee in a department. And using Tom's thing, make it a paragraph, 30 seconds, or
90 words. 'cause
or
it takes
90 words or 30 seconds on a committee, and say
10 minutes
this.
to read 180 words.
You know, because I know, it's just speaking as a finance committee member, people think we sit here and make up a budget and this is how we're gonna spend the money. We only make recommendations. We don't spend any money. We don't, town meeting ultimately has the final decision. It's just, we're a product of town meeting. They make a recommendation to them, they either accept it or they don't. That's the process, and that's the way, and it's a good process. I'm not disputing it, but I think, you know, if we each did a committee and did a department and, you know, stay on a positive note, you know, you might get some people interested.
Okay, and another to going on, we have a joint meeting workshop for public safety on March 15th, 5 PM. I think it's downstairs in the hall. We have a Chapter 70 workshop, which I think is Zoom, March 20th at 9 AM. And we also have one Zoom on March 8th on opioid funds. They've given us 158,000, I believe. And there was one particular individual who was concerned because it's up to the selectmen as to how it's dispersed or spent. And they're having a query about it. And because it's very much public funds and from its source, the selectmen have decided to hold a meeting, Zoom meeting, on March 8th, carried by CTV.
Today's
That was
March
Today is
8th.
March 8th.
Oh,
He was close.
no, excuse me, well, I got an asterisk next to that, so I have to make an additional statement. It'll be on WCTV rerun. So you can
Oh, so
pick it
it's
up.
today,
So what
Well,
was on,
either we have a conflict,
yeah,
obviously,
yeah,
It's
and
Ladies' Day today for the world.
Women,
Yeah,
International
National
Women's
Women's Day.
Day?
yes, it is.
Very good, Tom.
but you can probably pick it up on WCTV.
Okay.
So what was March 20th?
Yeah,
The
that was my
police,
question. What's March?
March
20th?
15th. Pardon?
What's the 20th, what meeting is that?
Chapter 70 workshop,
Chapter 70,
okay,
Is
so,
it the police station, March 16th?
March 15th,
15th.
5 PM.
That's where they're gonna unveil what the cost and
Next
Yes.
Wednesday.
is that?
Yes.
and
And
that's
that,
at Wednesday at downstairs at 5,
Yeah, the
5 o'clock.
auditorium, yeah.
And
are
that's
we still having a
before our
meeting after?
Yes. Pardon?
Are we still having a 6:30 meeting?
Of course.
Yeah,
So
Brittany's
we're
gonna buy
so 5
supper
o'clock
for us
downstairs
between
and
meetings.
6:30 up here?
Is March 15th our meeting? It's
Yeah.
not our meeting, is it? The, I
6:30.
mean,
The joint workshop?
joint workshop?
No, it's not our meeting, no.
It's- Okay.
Okay,
Oh,
so
but you're
we're-
inviting us to all to attend?
I'm making you aware.
Okay, gotcha.
Got it, okay.
Okay.
And same
It's-
thing with the chapter 70, that's not
Yeah.
our meeting, it's,
5 p.m.
it's a
Correct.
meeting that would be of interest.
Mhm.
And are they gonna talk about, they're gonna talk about the costs associated, or?
They are. Let's see. Discussion with the Public Safety Complex Study Committee and presentation by Teton Architects and possible vote regarding the information presented. Notice of a special joint workshop meeting of Wareham Select Board and Police Building Study Committee, Public Safety Complex Study Committee. I'm not sure I'm actually gonna say possible vote from whom, because there is, the only elected board is the select.
Would that be on the proposed facility?
That would be,
Oh,
there would be
that's,
information inclusive of this
Yeah.
building, Deacon's,
So information.
so that's the 16th, not the 15th.
16th.
16th.
Did I say
16th.
15th?
You said
You
15th.
said
My
15th.
apologies, oh,
Okay.
Brittany's on a roll.
I was like, I thought I had it on my calendar, I'm looking at my calendar, I don't have it in
I
there.
can't go.
my apologies. It's the 16th, though, we're no
16th at
conflict.
5. Yep, no conflict.
So I do, but is that, are they gonna tape it so we can watch it? You think?
I presume it would be. It's
Yeah.
significant importance.
Yeah.
WCTV typically tapes everything they possibly can. When I had my meeting with the COA, WCTV there was to tape it.
Okay, so I can watch it.
And that's joint with the select board that day.
It seems that they make an implication that there's 3 different groups there, but there's only 2.
Yeah, I've only got 2, I'm only seeing 2 agendas at this point for that.
Yeah, Select Board and Police Building Study Committee and Public Safety Complex Study Committee.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
I'm sorry, my hearing aid wasn't working then.
But don't you like that?
I was fucking fine, I heard fine.
Motion's made and seconded. Any discussion? There being none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's a vote. Unanimous?
So next Wednesday night?
Yes.
So what is on the agenda?